All right, we finally reached this very important topic, which is events and event handling. In web applications, the UIs are driven by events, things like on-click, on-mouse-over, on-scroll. These are all defined by the DOM APIs. Imba, as usual, has an elegant way to respond to events. So I've added in a little button tag here to quickly show you the syntax for this. It's like adding an attribute to the tag, but it starts with an @ symbol and then the name of the event. So @click means click event, and then you set that equal to the event handler. Now this can be the name of a function that you want to call or a method, or it can be a little line of code right there which will act as the event handler function. So I'm going to put console.log clicked just as a test, and let's click the button and we see the console.log, so that works. A really cool thing is that the event object is automatically provided as a special variable called E. So I could just say console.log clicked, E, and we'll see that. So you can see that the event object is passed in, and that makes it super easy to define these event handlers for ones that are very quick and easy like this. But pretty often you're going to want to put a method name here. So if I put a method called foo, and then I could say def foo as a method on my tag here, console.log hello from foo. Okay, now when I click it, we get that. So foo here is a reference to the foo method, and that's what gets called. But let's make a more realistic example. I'm going to delete this button. Okay, I'm going to put a new div down here with a class of controls, and inside of there, I'm going to put a button tag @click equals complete all, and this button will be called complete all. Okay, I'm going to add some styles for this button. I'll say div.controls, and inside of there, any buttons are going to have these styles. Okay, so I styled the button to look like a link, and now let's implement this complete all method. So when you click this button, it's going to run a function called complete all, which is not defined. I don't need this foo method anymore, so I'm going to change the name of that to complete all, and let's just click once to make sure that that's hooked up. It is. So now we're going to define a function that completes all of the habits, and that's easy enough to do with a loop. I'll say for habit in habits, habit.done equals true. So this method will go through and complete all of the habits, marking them all as done. Okay, let's try that. Click here. Let's start with all of them incomplete. Click here, they're all complete. Awesome. Now an important thing to understand is how Imba re-renders your app. The way you should think about it is that every time an event is handled in your app, Imba re-renders everything. Now that might sound like, oh, that's inefficient, but imagine if it wasn't inefficient. It frees you up. It makes things so easy because every time an event is handled, your app is just fully re-rendered. So you don't have to worry about surgically updating any particular things. And that essentially is what happens, but Imba has a very sophisticated system for doing this very efficiently. So you might think, well, maybe it's just barely efficient enough, but it's actually way faster than other web frameworks. Like in most common cases, it blows past React and it blows past Vue, and you got the benefit of re-rendering your entire app on every handled event, which makes the model, sort of the mental model of building your UI much simpler. Okay, so we've hooked up this button to complete all. I'm going to add another button, and we're going to call this one reset all. And you can see that over here. And now I've got a challenge for you. I want you to hook up this button. What I want you to do is hook up the reset all button. Step one is create a reset all method, kind of like the complete all method that sets all the habits done property to false. Then add a click event on the new button that calls that method, the new method that you create, and then test it out. Give that a try, and then I'll show you the solution. Okay, so let's define the method, def reset all. And just like the one above it, we'll say for habit in habits, habit.done equals false. Then we'll come down here and say @click equals reset all. So now you can try either of those buttons. One will reset everything, one will complete everything.